Gabe here. We're gonna be going through my bag for the 2022-2023 season. Just picked up my sponsorship with Team Parabolic, and yeah, I'll talk about that as the video gets on. But let's get into what's in my bag. All right. With that being said, let's get on to our putting putters. I putt with the Electron Firm Ion. I have 2 Electron Firm, 1 Electron Soft. These are my inside the circle, outside the circle. You know, they're money. I got my first win with them Saturday at Ferry Park. They feel so good in the hand. The best I can compare them to is probably a Judge. The little bead right there allows the disc to have a lot of glide coming into the basket with a 3 glide, and they work. And when I don't want to have these like get messed up by hitting a tree or a fence, or I'm throwing over a parking lot, really weird scenarios, but I'll pull this one out, and it's softer, so it'll have a softer, more like graceful landing rather than a hard putter getting on edge and rolling. You'll just kind of, so that's what's in the top of my bag. Then let's go onto the they don't really have a certain spot in my bag. I mean, obviously the Harp's forehand approach and the Envy's backhand disc, but they're in the top of my bag because they're probably the most used on every hole. If any hole's about 300 feet and in, probably 325, maybe 350 if I can get over on it. I'm gonna pull out an Envy because this Envy goes as far as my Hex, my Truth, all that down there, and it has a soft, stable finish, so it's reliable, and it's not gonna get your aggressive finishes as like a pyro or a deflector would. But then the Harp, you know, I said it before, it's a forehand approach disc. Kind of does one thing and one thing really well. You're gonna go, and it's gonna go straight, and then it's gonna fade right at the end for a nice soft finish. That's in the Orgeo Burst plastic, and then the Envy's in the Glow plastic. The Glow plastic, when it comes to any kind of disc in the MVP line, it makes it a little bit more stable. So having a stable putter that feels good in the hand is a mids. We have from stable to least stable. Let's go with my deflector first. The Speed 5, Glide 3.5, Turn of 0, and a Fade of 4. You know what it's gonna do. It's gonna go one way. If you throw a right hand forehand, it's gonna go right out of your hand. If you throw a right hand backhand, it's gonna go left out of your hand. It's used for one thing, getting around a corner quick, or I want a skip shot or something like that, I'll pull out a deflector. Now when I want more of a straight to stable forehand mid, this is the best forehand mid on the market. I can proudly say that. If you know me locally, you know that I love the forehand putters and mids, and that's kind of like my thing. I love a stable putter an understable putter that I can flip up and kind of do what I want. But with this, you don't have to. You can throw it flat on the line that you want, and it's gonna go right just a little bit, and I can push this like 300. So it definitely is when I don't want an aggressive finish from a fairway, let's say like a Tesla or a Terra, then I pull the Pyro out. Now, if I want kind of like that neutral, stable, straight to stable, I'll pull out a Hex. It goes far with a glide of 5. It definitely glides a lot, and it's very new to me because I've always either thrown a Truth or a Buzz, so I'm still kind of trying to work this one in the bag, but I like how it's thrown so far. And then probably one of my favorite discs in my bag. I haven't been throwing this one since I got it. I got it probably like a year and a half ago by Xander Zariat. Shout out to him. Go follow him on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. And he dyed this sick LA Lakers stamp for me. It's straight, and then it turns a little bit at the end. This disc actually kind of sealed the deal for me. This and the Terra at the NADGT tournament that I played last weekend, hole 15. It was like a 350, or not 350, like 330 at max. Tee through a tunnel, low ceiling, and I went Anheuser left to right, panning out, and it held the line, and it had that soft finish. So it's a great disc in my bag. It's always kind of been in my bag. I know I shared something on Facebook a while ago about me forehanding the Truth on hole 6 at Sunset. Shout out to my Emerald Coast fam, and yeah. And then probably one of the most understable discs I've ever thrown in my entire life, the Uplink. Now, I mentioned previously that I like to throw these nice little forehand shots where I'm looking through a gap and I want to have that little flip up, but I don't want to turn away from the basket with a backhand. I'm going with the Uplink, or if I want to get around a corner on a backhand, panning like that, then I'm throwing an Uplink there. And let's move on to the fairways, shall we? Going from from like, I'll start with the Craves. We got 2 of the Craves. I got a Fission Crave and a Proton Crave. The Proton Crave's a little bit more flippier than the Fission Crave, but these things, man, if you don't have a Crave in your bag, what are you doing? They go probably farther than, if you throw this and a T-Bird or a Thunderbird, these are going farther than that. They're going farther than an Evader, or they're going farther than I don't know any other fairways that are solid, but these are money. Go get you one. FlightFactorDisc.com, MVPDisc.com, whatever you want to go get them. And yeah. And then we have the Insanity. This is kind of like my get out of jail free card. You know how Yuli has his Avenger SS. This is kind of like that disc. I'll throw it like this on a backhand. It'll flip up and go right. I throw it on a forehand. It'll flip up and go left. Kind of like a roller disc. I don't really have a shot. Like, it's not a disc that I have in my bag for, oh yeah, I need that shot on that hole. It's kind of just like whenever I'm in jail and I want to get through a gap flipping up that I want a longer flight in the uplink, I'll bring this out. And then here's my 2 really forehand and / backhand fairways that I throw mostly off the tee. A Tesla is kind of like your Felon Firebird, but a little bit more straighter out of the hand. Backhand and forehand, it's going to have that stable flight, and then it's going to go right. And then the Terra is, I didn't think I'd like it at first due to the profile of it. It's got a little bit of dome to it, but I throw it for a little bit. Beat out the Fireball in my bag when it comes to the overstable fairway driver spot from MVP. Definitely look, check one of these out. It's very dependable, especially in any wind. As you can see, Florida randomly has wind randomly. Just decides to have wind, decides to have rain, decides to have a hurricane sometimes. But you know, it's Florida. Wait a couple minutes, the weather might change. But yeah, the Terra is a great disc. It should have a spot in everybody's bag. Now let's go to the big boys up here. So let's go probably from, I'll start off stable. We got the MVP Panic here. And the Neutron plastic, it's like your Enforcer, your Max, your whatever the overstable disc is from Tasmania. I forgot what it is, but just, it's gonna go left, and it's gonna go left really hard. If you throw it on a forehand, it's gonna go right. It's gonna go right really hard. It's a step up, or not a step up. The line would go Deflector, Terra, Panic. So that's where I would throw it. And then here's my most flippy Octane. Let's go to the Octanes now. My most flippy Octane is this little purple one in the Proton plastic, I believe. It is it's really dependable. It's got the little heartbeat to it, so it's gonna flip up and go right, and it's gonna go and then come back. And then when I want less stable than that, I'll go to this one. This one, it's a Neutron Preflight number Octane. Got this from my dad. Shout out to my dad. I don't know where I'd be without you. It'd flip up, go straight, and then go right, but it wouldn't go right as far as the Octane would. It'd have and when I want just a shot that I can do, it's gonna flip up and stay straight, and then go left. And on a forehand, I can get it to flip up and go straight. It's gonna be this plasma plastic Octane. This plasma plastic from MVP is a really good plastic. It feels amazing. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's really grippy. Fits the hand nice. And then to round off our distance drivers, we have the Wave. So like I said, with the Panic, it would go, in reference to that, it would go Uplink, Insanity, Wave. So this is I want to go longer than an Insanity trying to flip it up, or I want to go a longer ways trying to forehand this, and then it's also a really big roller disc. And the Photon kind of finds its way in the middle of everything with a speed 11, glide 5, turn of a negative 1.5, and a fade of 2.5. It's really just, with this fission plastic, man, it goes forever. When I want a really big spike hyzer that won't go so far like an Octane, I'll pull out this thing, and it's like a lawn dart. That's what I nicknamed it. It's a lawn dart. But it's not like a chip shot lawn dart. It's if I throw this out there 380 on a hyzer, it's gonna stick. So it's the Elaine King one. Everybody should definitely go have you one of these in the bag. They're great. But yeah, guys, that is it for my in the bag for this season. I want to say shout out to Josh Melwin and Team Parabolic Disc for picking me up. If you haven't checked that out, go to the Facebook page. Check out our stuff on there. If you haven't, October October. It's don't hold me on this, don't hold me on the date, but it's next Saturday. I think it's the 29th. There is a tournament in Crestview, Florida. Make sure you go check out that if you're free that Saturday. It's $1,000 out of cash to a C tier in Open. So I'll be playing an Open against my dad. I think Farrell signed up for it, so that should be fun. And yeah, guys, I'm sorry for rambling. You know, I am a product of my father, but I think last year's in the bag was way longer than this one. But yeah, guys, it's good to be out here again. It's good to be representing the sport. It's good to be in the community again, and hopefully this is where I am instead of off doing other things. So yeah,